Hey everyone, ready to dive into the life of Michelle Obama? We're going way deeper than just the headlines,
Yeah, we're going to really get to know her.
taking a good look at the woman behind the role, behind the icon.
It's really fascinating what memoirs can do,
Oh,
where they offer this rare peek behind the curtain, right? Help us connect with these public figures.
totally, on a more personal level.
Exactly.
And today, we're using excerpts from Michelle Obama's memoir, Becoming, along with some photos,
Awesome.
to really bring her journey to life. So we're going from her childhood memories in Chicago
Oh,
to those aha moments that shaped her path. We're uncovering all those layers that make Michelle Obama so compelling.
it's going to be good. And I think her early life in South Shore, Chicago is the perfect place to start.
Okay.
Her upbringing in that small apartment
Okay.
with her close-knit family,
Yeah.
I think it really lays the foundation for understanding her values.
It is amazing to think about her sharing a room with her brother Craig, separated only by a makeshift partition
Oh,
that their grandfather built.
oh, wow.
Talk about close quarters.
Yeah.
But even more than the physical space, right?
Huh.
It's that family dynamic that stands out.
Yeah, yeah.
Those lively dinner conversations
Right.
where they'd grill their parents with questions.
And those dinner table debates, they weren't just about getting answers, They were about cultivating critical thinking.
Yeah.
Michelle even recounts how she negotiated her way out of eating eggs for 9 years
What?
by persistently questioning her mother
No way.
about the necessity of protein at breakfast.
That's using your voice.
Right.
It shows her tenacity and how she learned early on to engage in, thoughtful discussion.
Yeah.
Of course, like any family, they faced their share of challenges. Her father's multiple sclerosis brought a new dimension to their lives.
It definitely did.
Yeah.
What's striking is how they adapted as a family.
They became incredibly punctual, always arriving early to places to minimize her father's exertion.
Oh, wow.
And her brother, Craig, even took on this role of, fire marshal,
Why?
conducting, drills to ensure their father's safety in case of an emergency.
It makes you wonder how those early experiences with her father's illness might have shaped her perspective
Oh, yeah.
on resilience and facing challenges head on.
Right. It's an interesting thought. You can see how the importance of family and supporting each other through difficult times became, ingrained in her from a young age.
Absolutely. And speaking of formative experiences, education played a huge role in Michelle's life, starting with Bryn Mawr Elementary School, where she had a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
That really highlights her determination.
That moment when she realized she couldn't read the word white in class.
Oh, whoa.
It's not just about struggling with a word,
Right.
It's about a young Michelle recognizing a gap in her knowledge and becoming fiercely determined to excel. It's almost like a spark ignited within her,
Yeah.
that drive to prove herself, to master her academics. It becomes a recurring theme throughout her life. And then, talk about a leap, she goes from her neighborhood school to the prestigious Whitney Young Magnet High School.
Imagine going from a familiar environment to a school filled with students from such diverse socioeconomic backgrounds.
Right.
It forced her to adapt and find her place all over again.
It's a transition that could easily shake someone's confidence.
Oh, yeah.
But Michelle seemed to thrive on the challenge.
She did.
And it was there she met Santita Jackson, daughter of Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Oh, wow.
That friendship opened her eyes to a different kind of political engagement.
It's interesting because up until that point, her world had been so centered around her family and education. This friendship really broadened her perspective.
Yeah.
And exposed her to social issues on a larger scale.
It's like stepping onto a bigger stage.
Yeah.
And getting a glimpse of the possibilities for impact beyond her immediate world. And speaking of bigger stages, her journey to Princeton University was a major milestone.
Following in her brother's footsteps to Princeton,
Right.
she encountered the realities of being a minority student at a predominantly white institution.
Right.
It wasn't just about academics, it was about navigating a social landscape where she often felt this pressure to overperform,
Oh, wow.
to represent her race.
That pressure to be a role model seems to be a constant thread in her story. And it's interesting to contrast her experience with that of her roommate Suzanne, who valued fun and spontaneity.
Yeah, it's almost like two different approaches to life colliding.
Yeah.
You have Michelle always so driven and focused,
Right.
and Suzanne embracing this more carefree spirit.
Right.
Their dynamic probably challenged Michelle's perspective in ways she hadn't anticipated.
It makes you think about how those seemingly small interactions, like having a roommate with a different personality, can subtly shape our own outlook. And from Princeton, she goes on to Harvard Law School, where that inner drive to excel continues.
There's a real sense that she's constantly pushing herself, striving for excellence. It's inspiring, but, it also makes you wonder about the weight of those expectations.
Yeah.
Both internal and external.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that even those who achieve great things often carry burdens we don't always see. But hold on, because we're about to reach a pivotal point in Michelle's journey, the moment she meets a certain summer associate named Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah.
At the prestigious law firm Sidley in Austin.
Imagine her, a young lawyer, tasked with mentoring this new arrival. And her first impression, well, let's just say Barack wasn't exactly punctual.
Oh, really?
And that smoking habit didn't win her over initially.
Almost like a classic rom-com setup.
Right.
The driven, organized woman.
Yeah.
And the charming but slightly disheveled newcomer.
Yeah.
But beneath the surface, something deeper was developing.
What's fascinating is how their connection grew.
Yeah.
Those shared lunches, the conversations,
Right.
the gradual building of trust and understanding. It's a reminder that sometimes the most significant relationships start in the most unexpected ways.
And speaking of unexpected, Brock's background was far from conventional.
It really was.
Born in Honolulu, raised partly in Indonesia, with a Kenyan father and a white mother from Kansas.
Wow.
His path was anything but a straight line.
No kidding.
His story speaks to the power of embracing diverse experiences.
Yeah.
From Occidental College in L.A. to Columbia University, where he immersed himself in literature and philosophy.
Wow.
His journey is one of constant exploration and growth.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if that diversity of experience is part of what initially drew Michelle to him.
Possibly.
Here she is, this incredibly focused and driven woman. And then you have Barack, who brings this completely different energy and perspective to the table.
It's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's probably no coincidence that they both ended up in law,
Right.
but from such different starting points.
Right.
Their shared profession provided a common ground,
Mm-hmm.
while their unique backgrounds kind of created a spark of intrigue.
It's like the perfect recipe for a compelling partnership. Shared ambitions blended with contrasting experiences.
Right.
But as their relationship blossomed, Michelle was also grappling with finding her own purpose, a sense of fulfillment beyond her successful career.
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The death of her close friend, Suzanne, served as a wake-up call,
Oh.
forcing her to reevaluate her priorities and what truly mattered in life.
It's a reminder of how life's unexpected turns can push us to confront those deeper questions about purpose and meaning.
It really is.
Yeah.
She began questioning her corporate law job.
Ow.
It was successful,
Yeah.
but did it align with her values?
Really?
Was it making the kind of impact she desired?
And it wasn't just Suzanne's passing.
Right.
Witnessing her father's declining health further fueled that desire to do work that truly mattered. She saw firsthand the fragility of life and the importance of pursuing passions that resonated on a deeper level.
It's a powerful realization.
Yeah.
And it ultimately led her to a turning point, the decision to leave her corporate law job, to join Public Allies, a nonprofit focused on public service.
That's a bold move.
It was.
A leap of faith
Yeah.
into a world that was less structured,
Yeah.
but infinitely more aligned with her values.
Yeah.
It's like she's shedding a skin, stepping into a new version of herself.
And at Public Allies, she thrived.
Yeah.
Leading the Chicago chapter, developing programs, mentoring young people.
Wow.
It was a crash course in community building and making a tangible difference.
But amidst this newfound purpose, there was another layer unfolding.
Yeah.
Barack's burgeoning political career.
And Michelle initially had her reservations.
She valued stability,
Yeah.
family time,
Yeah.
and worried about the demands of political life.
Remember how she talks about that internal struggle, the clash between her passion for public service and her desire for a grounded family life?
It's a dilemma so many working parents face, especially when one partner's career demands such intense public scrutiny. And remember the challenges they faced on their journey to parenthood.
Oh, yeah.
The heartbreak of infertility,
Right.
the pain of miscarriage. It all adds another layer of complexity to their story.
It's a reminder that even the most accomplished individuals face personal struggles and heartbreak. But then came the incredible joy of becoming parents to Malia and Sasha.
Yeah,
It's a moment that shifts everything, right?
absolutely. Parenthood brings its own set of, joys and challenges.
Yeah.
And for the Obamas, it was all happening amidst, like, this whirlwind of Barack's rising political career.
And that whirlwind was about to take them all the way to the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about a transition. I can't even imagine going from a relatively private life in Chicago
Right.
to the constant spotlight of being the first family.
It's a seismic shift.
Yeah.
Michelle is very open in her memoir
Yeah.
about the initial discomfort she felt
Yeah.
with the formality and the constraints
Yeah.
of White House life.
Right.
The constant presence of Secret Service, the
Yeah.
protocol,
Yeah.
the loss of privacy.
Yeah.
It was a far cry from the normalcy she'd strived to create for her family.
There's that anecdote she shares about her first visit to the White House
yeah.
as First Lady-elect.
Right.
She wanted to scope out the space for her daughters,
Mm-hmm.
envisioning how to make it feel like a home.
Right.
But she had to be ushered in through a loading dock.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a powerful image
Yeah,
that speaks volumes about the shift in their lives.
for sure. Everything became about security and protocol,
Right.
which makes her efforts to maintain some semblance of normalcy all the more impressive.
Right. And let's not forget.
Yeah. She was also navigating the unique pressure of being the first African-American First Lady.
Absolutely. That's a layer of complexity we can't overlook.
Right. She was acutely aware of the historical significance,
Right.
the weight of expectations,
Mhm.
and the potential for scrutiny that came with her position.
She talks about feeling this need to be flawless,
Wow.
to avoid any missteps that could reflect negatively on her husband
Right.
or the community she represented.
Yeah.
It's a heavy burden to carry.
Especially while trying to raise two young daughters in the public eye.
Exactly. And yet,
Yeah.
amidst all that pressure, she found ways to use her platform
Yeah.
to champion causes she cared deeply about.
Right. Let's move it. Her initiative to promote healthy eating and exercise
Oh, yeah.
was a prime example of her using her influence for good.
It wasn't just about advocating for healthy habits.
Right.
It was about empowering families to make positive changes.
Mm-hmm. Remember the White House garden?
Oh, of
It
course.
became a symbol of her commitment to healthy living. And a teaching tool to engage kids with where their food comes from.
And it yielded some amusing anecdotes, too.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like the time she hosted a Halloween party for local kids.
Mm-hmm.
Despite pushback from some of Barack's advisors who thought it would be seen as frivolous.
It shows her determination to bring a sense of joy and normalcy to the White House,
Totally.
especially for her daughters.
Right. And that determination extended beyond the White House walls.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when she and Barack snuck out to see a Broadway show in New York?
That's right.
It speaks to their desire for a break from the bubble,
Yeah.
a stolen moment of normalcy,
Mm-hmm.
even if it meant facing criticism later on.
It makes them seem so much more relatable.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, like even amidst all the pomp and circumstance,
Right.
they were still a couple who craved those simple pleasures.
And speaking of relatable, there's that hilarious story about Michelle meeting Queen Elizabeth II.
Oh yes, the infamous hug.
Right.
That supposed breach of protocol that
Yeah.
made headlines around the world. It did.
But when you read about it in Michelle's own words,
Yeah.
it becomes clear that it was simply a spontaneous gesture of
No.
warmth and human connection.
It's a reminder that sometimes those seemingly rigid rules of etiquette
Yeah.
can be challenged by genuine human interaction.
Totally. And let's not forget the fashion icon she became.
Oh, yeah.
Her style choices were always so deliberate,
Right.
mixing high-end designers with affordable pieces,
Mm-hmm.
championing American talent,
Yeah.
and using fashion as a platform for inclusivity.
She made a statement without saying a word.
Exactly. And those sleeveless dresses.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about breaking the mold. It's remarkable how she used every aspect of her role to convey a message,
Right.
from her advocacy work to her fashion choices.
Right.
She was a master of using her platform to amplify important issues.
And through it all, she remained a devoted mother,
Yeah.
balancing the demands of being First Lady with the everyday realities of raising two daughters in the public eye.
Of course.
Remember Malia's prom night?
Oh, yeah.
The Secret Service had to clear her date's car
Oh, wow.
and follow them to the prom.
It's a surreal glimpse into their lives, trying to maintain some semblance of normalcy within extraordinary circumstance.
But amidst the pomp and circumstance,
Yeah.
Michelle never lost sight of her core values.
Definitely not. Her commitment to family,
Yeah.
her work ethic,
Mm-hmm.
her belief in education and public service,
Right.
these remained her guiding principles.
And as Barack's presidency progressed,
Yeah,
she became an increasingly vocal advocate for social justice,
that's right.
using her platform to speak out against gun violence, racial inequality,
Mhm.
and the importance of empowering young people, especially girls.
It's a testament to her evolution as a leader.
Yeah.
From hesitant political spouse
Right.
to a powerful voice for change.
Yeah.
She embraced the opportunity to make a difference. It's inspiring to see how she didn't shy away from difficult conversations,
Right.
but rather leaned into them.
But as with any journey, there were challenges along the way.
Oh, yeah.
Remember the criticism she faced?
Yeah.
The attempts to label her as angry
Right.
or too outspoken?
It's a reminder that strong women,
Mm-hmm.
especially women of color,
Right.
are often subjected to unfair scrutiny
Yeah.
and attempts to silence their voices.
It's unfortunate,
It is.
but not surprising.
Right. But what's remarkable is that Michelle never let the negativity deter her.
She didn't.
She stayed true to herself,
Mm-hmm.
using her platform to speak truth to power
Right.
and inspiring millions along the way.
And as their time in the White House drew to a close,
Yeah.
Michelle had to confront the inevitable question.
What comes next?
Right. It's a question we all face at some point in our lives. How do we define ourselves beyond a specific role or title?
For Michelle, that question became even more poignant
Yeah.
as she witnessed the rise of Donald Trump,
Right.
someone whose values and rhetoric were diametrically opposed to everything she and Barack had stood for.
Right. It was a stark reminder of the fragility of progress
Definitely.
and the realization that the fight for equality and justice is ongoing.
Yeah. And yet, even in the face of uncertainty,
Right.
she remained optimistic.
Yeah.
Her message of hope, resilience,
Mm.
and the power of becoming resonated even more deeply
Yeah.
as they prepared to leave the White House.
It's a message that transcends politics.
Absolutely. It's
It's-
about embracing our own journeys of growth and evolution,
Right.
regardless of our circumstances.
And so as they bid farewell to the White House,
Yeah.
Michelle left behind a legacy of grace, intelligence,
Mm,
and unwavering commitment to making a difference in the world.
she did.
Her story is a testament to the power of one person to inspire change,
Yeah.
to challenge conventions,
Mm.
and to use their platform to uplift others.
But before we wrap up this deep dive,
Okay.
let's take a moment to reflect on some of the key takeaways
Yeah.
from Michelle's journey. What struck me most was her resilience,
Mm.
her ability to navigate adversity,
Yeah.
to stay true to her values,
Right.
and to find her own voice amidst the chaos of political life.
And her unwavering dedication to her family.
Yes, even as she embraced a public role,
Yeah.
she never lost sight of the importance of nurturing her daughters
Right.
and protecting their well-being.
Absolutely. And her commitment to using her platform to advocate for others
Oh, yeah.
is truly inspiring.
It is, from promoting healthy eating
Mhm.
to supporting military families to empowering young people.
Right.
Michelle consistently used her voice to shine a light on important issues.
And let's not forget her style.
Right.
She redefined what it means to be a first lady,
Yeah.
embracing both elegance and accessibility,
Mm-hmm.
and using fashion as a form of self-expression.
It's clear that every choice she made was intentional, a
Yeah.
reflection of her values
Right.
and her desire to use her position to make a positive impact. So what does this all mean?
Yeah. What can we learn from Michelle Obama's extraordinary journey?
Mm,
I think her story reminds us that we all have that power, to
yeah.
become, to embrace change, to
Right.
challenge ourselves,
Right.
and to use our own unique experiences
Yeah.
to make a difference in the world. It's about finding our purpose,
Yeah.
not just in our careers, but in our lives.
It's about staying true to our values, too, even when faced with, pressure or opposition.
Right.
And it's about using our voices to speak up for what we believe in, to lift up others, and to, inspire hope.
One thing that really struck me throughout becoming
Yeah.
was how Michelle consistently navigates ambition, family, and public service.
It's a remarkable balancing act.
It really is.
She never sacrifices one for the other.
No.
But finds ways to, integrate them seamlessly.
It's really inspiring, right?
It is.
It makes you think about the choices we make in our own lives.
Mhm.
How do we define success? How do we prioritize our commitments?
Her story encourages us to reflect on those very questions,
Mm-hmm.
to consider what truly matters, and to strive for a life that feels both meaningful and fulfilling.
And the way she frames becoming as a continuous journey is so powerful. It's not about reaching a fixed destination. It's about constantly evolving, growing, learning.
Exactly. It takes the pressure off, you know?
Yeah.
This idea of achieving some like ultimate goal. And instead, it focuses on the process, the
Right.
ongoing journey of self-discovery.
I love that. So after this deep dive into Michelle Obama's world, what resonated most with you? What stands out?
Um, for me, it's her unwavering belief in the power of hope. Even in the face of adversity, she never gives up on the possibility of a better future.
Yeah.
And her commitment to using her platform to lift up others, especially young people and women,
Right.
incredibly inspiring.
She seems to have this incredible ability to connect with people on a personal level,
Yeah, she does.
reminding them that they matter, that their voices deserve to be heard. It's a message that resonates deeply, especially in these uncertain times.
It does. And I think it's something we can all take to heart,
Yeah,
regardless of our background or circumstances.
absolutely. As we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of inspiration and a renewed commitment to my own journey of becoming. What about you? What questions are you left with? What insights will you carry with you from Michelle Obama's extraordinary story?
It's definitely given me a lot to think about, and I think the biggest takeaway is that we all have the potential to make a difference, to use our voices, and to embrace the ongoing process of becoming.
Beautifully said. Until next time, keep diving deep and keep becoming.